Welcome, folks. How to DJ a wedding reception. Well, before you can do the wedding reception, you have to do the meeting. You have to meet with the bride and the groom. Once you sit down with the bride and the groom, you should have a wedding planner or a reception planner that is catered to the DJ's needs. Just remember, if you're going to go with a friend, you're going to go with a family member, it doesn't always work out. Um, the equipment, if the equipment's not good, plus by the time he buys all the equipment, there's another expense. Just can't use a home stereo system. I've seen a lot of iPod weddings; those don't really work out either. But this is how we here at AMSDJProductions.net do the first meeting to the bride and the groom. We sit down. You got to sit down at least a month before the wedding, so you have time to get all the songs and everything they want to do. Have all the names of the brides and the ushers, for the introduction. But you can download pretty much a wedding planner anywhere. I'm going to go through ours that we have here on the site. But like I said, if you go through a iPod wedding or you do a friend or a family, it does not replace a professional DJ with professional equipment that has done weddings before, is well versed in how how things come up, getting everything ready, making it run on time. There's so much that goes into it that the novice person doesn't know, and you end up looking kind of, I just want to say, with egg on your face when you do not have a professional. With that said, let's go to the meeting. So first off, you have the bride and groom come anywhere from 2 months to a month and a half, maybe even a month earlier than your wedding. You want to have them already fill out your bride planner. You want the bride planner, after they fill it out, to come with them. We ask for a small deposit at that time. But let's go through it. First things first, every wedding is different, and we like to plan ours. We want to make your wedding as simple and less stressful as possible. But things come up. So first things first. On our wedding planner, we have, is it a formal wedding? Well, obviously. But do you want them to wear a tux or a suit? Either one. They both look good. I preferably like to wear a suit. But, and is the wedding reception and the ceremony at the same place? A lot of times what happens when I'm doing a ceremony, doing a wedding reception, they want me there a little early so I could play, a couple of songs, either the intro, outro, and probably, lighting of the candle or something to that effect when you're, for the ceremony itself. And then we go into light cocktail, dinner music, and then we do the other. But, yeah, need to know that. And like to know who the, like approximately how many guests they're going to be there. Kind of makes it, if it's over 200, I like to bring bigger equipment because of the sound carrying for the dance floor and, people talking in the background. Also, we need to know who the photographer is, because before the intro of the wedding reception party or the bridal party, we like to, I have stuff that I like to say, and I like to introduce everybody. I like to introduce not only the grandparents and the parents of the bride and the groom. I like to also, I'd like to welcome also the photographer, the videographer, and the caterer. So those three are very imperative, and we need everything spelled phonetically, just how it sounds, so we do not, make a mistake on their names or their company names. They get a little upset for that. And basically, would you like me to introduce the wedding party? Now, I have I usually write out what I'm going to do. I have a nice little, mine's actually 11 pages, introduction, but it goes through the whole wedding. I have it all prepared, and goes a little something like this. Ladies and gentlemen, it is with great pleasure that I welcome you here tonight on this lovely evening at Back Bay Crescent here in Virginia Beach to celebrate the wedding of Sean and Linda. My name is Dan, and I have the honor of being your DJ for this wonderful event. Earlier today, everyone attended a dignified ceremony where Sean and Linda professed their love for each other. It is time to celebrate that love, so I hope you're all ready to party and create some wonderful, happy memories. Are you ready to party? So that's my intro before I do the actual, entering of the bridal party and the bride and groom. Just to keep going a little bit, with the expert staff here at from Creative Catering, and our photographer Brian, and myself will do everything possible to make this an enjoyable and memorable celebration for everyone, including the bride and the groom. Just so you know, this also gives the guests, the bride and the groom, the bridal party, parents, a little bit of what you're about as a DJ. Speaking through a mic, and helps you, that they know they're going to have a interactive DJ. So anyway, I'm just gonna read through this a little bit, but here's where it differs. And that's a little bit of my intro. But so when you're doing your bridal planner, you want to know who the photographer is, who the videographer is, who the caterer is. You also need to know the names of the grandparents of the bride, grandparents of the groom, the parents of the bride, and the parents of the groom. Then you need to know phonetically, this is all phonetically spelled. It sounds like you say it. There's flower girls and ring bearers. Then you need the bridesmaids and the ushers or groomsmen. I have a lot because I've done weddings where there's 7. I've done weddings where there's 10. And then you need the maid or matron of honor. Let me explain that. Maid of honor is the person you pick for the maid of honor is not married. Matron of honor is a married woman. That's basically that. You need to know the name of the best man. You want to know the bride's new full name, groom's full name, and how they want to be introduced or announced at the time when they enter the room. You need to know if you're going to have a receiving line. Would you like the bride and groom? Now there's 2 different ways you can do this. Me personally, my preference is to get it out of the way and give them more time with their guests to mingle, talk to them, because they need to go to the tables and introduce them, not introduce themselves, but talk to each table and make them feel wanted and all that good stuff. And that's they need time for all that. So to get this out of the way, what I like to do is when I do the intro, I have them come in. I like to have them do a half a circle. the bridesmaids, the groomsmen, and the best man and matron of honor or maid of honor. I like them have it do a half a circle around the cake, and once I introduce the bride and the groom as Mr. and Mrs. John Smith, once they come in, I immediately tell the people to, they can stand and clap and, welcome them in. And then I always say, ladies and gentlemen, at this time we'd like to have you uh, get your cameras ready. We're going to cut the cake. And they walk over to the cake. I start playing the music. Once the music is playing, they cut the cake. Now that's one thing out of the way. I've had a lot of bridal planners or wedding planners. They like to do their own thing, but remember, when it comes to all this, this is the DJ's or the MC show. Excuse me. Okay, what I also like to do is, and I play cocktail music, and once dinner starts, I announce, please everybody sit down, we're going to start dinner, and they're going to call you up either by table or you're going to go to the buffet. That depends on how they're, how the caterer's set up. But I keep an eye on the bridal table, and they're always the first to go, and they're always the first to end, while other people are still standing around or sitting down getting served. That is the best time, once they're done eating, to start the first dance. It runs smooth. I try and keep it on a timely basis. Once that's done, like I said, this is my own. This is the way I do it. Once they're done eating, I immediately walk over to the bridal table and I tell the bride and the groom, we're going to do the first dance in about 5 minutes. Also, please get your father and please get your mother ready to come up. Once that is done, then you can come up and we can go right into the father-daughter, mother-son. I do like to also ask the bride and the groom at the time of the meeting if they would like their bridal party to join in. If they do, because you don't realize it, but from experience, once they're out on the dance floor doing their first dance, it seems like an eternity. So for pictures and for photography or videographing, the best thing to do is about halfway through the song, have the bridal party join in. It makes great pictures, and the bride and groom aren't out there like alone for like 4 minutes or 5 minutes. Believe it or not, it feels like an eternity. But that's what I like to do, and I like to offer that. If not, I will do the whole first dance for them if they want to have that, and then we'll do a bridal dance. But that all is in the negotiations when you sit down at the table in the preparation. Once that's done, before dinner, we like to say, if there is going to be a prayer said, I like to know who it is. And then after the dances, like to go into the toast. You can do the toast first and then the first dances, or you can do the first dances and then the toast while everybody's sitting down. That's a prime time to do it. And then what I like to do is usually the best man will say a few words, and then if somebody else is going to say something, maybe the maid of honor, I tell the best man to hand off the microphone. I always have wireless on the table. Hand off the wireless mic to the next person, and I'll try, if I can, say that now the maid of honor is going to say something, or the matron of honor. And then at that time we mingle in, and I start, once the first dance is done, it's open dance floor, and I usually start with the oldies and get the oldies going for the older people. Around, try and keep it, let's say 60s, 70s, 80s, depending on your group. You have to read the group. Look out and see, kind of guess their ages and kind of put their high school with them, and it's a whole different thing. But it's I can read the crowd, but trying to explain how to do it, you need experience doing it. Not that it can't be done, but you kind of judge about the age and where they were, and high school's a good base point. Once that's done, we go into the bouquet toss. Now, that's something that you have to discuss, you know, in the pre-planning. A lot of bride and grooms don't want to do the bouquet toss and the garter toss and all that, but if they do, you make them arrangements. I like to start that around between 8 and 8:30. I had one wedding one time where somehow dinner was late and I couldn't start it till like 9:30. I mean, it ran late, toast ran late, a lot of people talking. Ended up that I had to start it at 9:30. I had to do all this, and the photographer comes up and says, "Hey, I'm leaving at 10 o'clock." And I'm looking at my watch. She goes, "Can you think you can get all this in a half an hour?" I said, "Well, I'll do my best." Well, I got it done at 9:58. The bouquet toss, the garter toss. They put the garter on the leg of the person who caught the bouquet. The best, you know, the man who caught the garter, the woman who caught the bouquet. Most of the time, that could be risque if they have boyfriends and they're, you know, drinking. So we just like to take a picture if need be. If they're game for that, you know, the higher up the leg, the longer the wedding. Excuse me. And then we also like to offer the newlywed game, and that's a series of questions that we ask. We put the bride and the groom back to back, and they either take their shoes off, or I have a white and black paddle. And what happens then is we, you know, I ask a series of questions, and they raise the paddle to who they're back to back. They're not allowed to look at each other. It's a real showstopper. It involves the crowd. They love it. But that's something that, you know, you could do. We could do a dollar dance and all that. And then it ends up with the last dance. And you could do the circle of love, where you get around the circle of love. Or you can just play, this is the last song of the night. But also before that, at some point before the bouquet toss and that area, I do like to do an anniversary dance. You know, ask people to come up, and whoever was the longest, you've been married 5 years, sit down, 10, 20, 25, 30, you know. If you've been married longer than 30, you know, then whoever's left, you know, I like to ask them to give advice to the bride and the groom for longevity of marriage. And that's pretty much the meeting, and the next video, part 2, will be about actually what I say during the whole thing and how to go about that, and try and, you know, working the wedding so it's seamless. That's it. I'll see you on the next vid. Subscribe.